Today we're diving into something that affects all of us every single day. It's kind of like the rules of the road for modern life.
Exactly. It's the framework that lets millions of people with, completely different beliefs live together without everything falling apart.
And we're talking about secularism.
We are. And at its core, secularism is really just about separation, keeping religious groups and the government in their own lanes.
Okay, so think of the government as a neutral referee.
A neutral referee. That's a perfect way to put it.
So if the government is the ref, what's its number one rule?
Its number one rule is neutrality. It can't favor one religion over another.
Or favor religion over no religion at all, right?
Precisely. It can't punish you for what you believe or for what you don't believe. It ensures everyone is treated as an equal citizen, no matter what.
That sounds simple enough, but the effect of that is, well, it's huge.
Right.
If laws aren't based on ancient spiritual texts, then who decides what's right and wrong?
Well, the laws come from our shared values, things we can all agree on, like public safety or protecting people's rights.
So it's based on logic.
It's based on logic and, what's best for society as a whole. And that's why our public spaces like schools and government offices have to be neutral. It's really the foundation of any successful, diverse country today.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. This idea doesn't just appear out of thin air. For centuries, you had kings and rulers who said they were chosen by God. So where did this revolutionary idea even come from?
To find the roots, you really have to go back in time. Back to the 18th century in Europe.
The Enlightenment.
The Enlightenment, yes. It was this incredible period of intellectual change where people started to question all sorts of established authority.
And that's so interesting because it wasn't just a political thing. It was almost like a psychological revolution, right? People started thinking for themselves in a new way.
That's absolutely it. Thinkers at the time started emphasizing human reason, what you can see, what you can test, what you can prove.
So evidence over tradition.
Evidence over tradition. A thinker named John Locke, for instance, argued that governments only exist to protect people's natural rights.
And what were those?
Life, liberty, and property.
And that idea is a game changer. Because if a government exists to protect your rights, then you have to have the freedom to think for yourself.
Yes.
To question things without being afraid of punishment from the state or from a church that's backed by the state.
Exactly. That intellectual work laid the foundation for modern democracy, for constitutions and bills of rights, the freedoms we, sometimes take for granted today. They're the result of hundreds of years of people fighting for the right to think for themselves.
So let's bring that big idea right into your daily life, into the classroom. What does a secular system actually mean for school?
In school, it means the focus is on giving you the tools you need to succeed in a really diverse, complicated world.
So that means subjects based on evidence, math, science, history.
Right. Proven subjects. The goal of the curriculum is to help you think critically, not to get you to believe in one specific thing.
And I think that's so important to clarify. When you're in science class, you're using the scientific method. You're collecting data. You're testing ideas. You're looking for objective truth. So that's why a topic like evolution gets taught. The evidence supports it, no matter what anyone's personal beliefs might be.
The whole school environment has to be objective. Now, you might have a class on world religions to learn about, say, Judaism or Islam.
But it's taught as a history or culture class.
It's taught objectively, yes. The teacher has to stay neutral. Their job isn't to tell you what to believe.
But doesn't that raise a question for some people? Like, where do moral lessons come from if not from these ancient texts? Who decides what values young people should learn?
That's a key question. And the answer is the moral lessons like respect and fairness and integrity, they come from the shared values we all need for a democracy to even work. The system is designed so that kids from all backgrounds, all families, feel equally respected. And if that works for the classroom, think about how it applies to the legal system. Who makes the rules for everybody?
Well, it's not a religious leader.
Right. It's the people we elect, legislators, people who are accountable to the public.
So how do we make sure that their laws aren't just one group's idea of how everyone should live?
That's where the Constitution comes in. It's the ultimate guide. Judges have to base their decisions on that Constitution and on previous court cases.
To keep things fair and consistent.
Exactly. And any new law has to have a clear, practical purpose that helps everyone. Like traffic laws to keep us safe, or environmental laws for clean air, not laws that just push one group's lifestyle.
That makes sense. And laws need to change as society changes, right? When we learn new things or when our shared values evolve on something like civil rights.
Absolutely. A secular system has a process for that change. It's adaptable. It makes sure that one single viewpoint doesn't get locked in forever. And, maybe most importantly, it stops a powerful majority from using the law to take away the rights of minorities. Now, if we shift our focus a little, maybe the most obvious result of all this is our progress in science and technology.
Because it's all about reason.
It's all about reason. Science gives us a common language, a way to understand reality that's based on objective facts.
Right. The scientific method doesn't care who you are or what you believe. It just cares about the evidence.
And that trust in evidence is what has fueled, pretty much every major breakthrough for the last few hundred years. Modern medicine, space exploration.
The device you're probably listening to us on right now.
Exactly. Your phone, GPS, medical imaging. All of it comes directly from this commitment to objective research and solving practical problems.
And that leads right into the tech that runs our world. Could we have the internet or AI if scientists were always worried about getting approval from some non-secular authority? Or if they weren't allowed to question old ideas?
It's highly unlikely. Real progress depends on freedom. The freedom to ask tough questions, to test wild ideas, and, to fail and try again.
A secular environment just removes those barriers.
It removes the barriers. The focus is just on logic and engineering and finding what works. And here's something that can seem a little paradoxical, but it's really important. Secularism actually protects religious freedom.
How so?
By keeping the government neutral. It's not anti-religion, it's pro-choice.
So, because the state stays out of it, it actually creates a safe space for all beliefs to exist?
Precisely. The government doesn't play favorites. That means churches, mosques, synagogues, temples. They can all exist side by side without the government interfering.
And it also protects people who don't believe in any religion.
Yes. Your personal convictions are your own private business. And you have the right to change them whenever you want.
Let's talk about how this all shapes our culture, beyond the big things like laws and science. Public holidays are a good example.
They are. Many of them may have had religious roots, but now they're celebrated in a secular way.
They're more about shared values now.
Shared values, right? Family, community, national history. Think about holidays like Independence Day or Thanksgiving. They're designed so that people from every single background can participate and feel included.
And that freedom really shows up in the arts. An artist can explore literally any part of the human experience, from the spiritual to the political, and they don't need approval from a church or a government committee.
And that creative freedom is why culture is so vibrant today. It's how we discuss new ideas, challenge old ones, and sort of work through our problems as a society. It drives innovation everywhere.
That professionalism also seems critical in the modern workplace. Work environments are fundamentally secular. You get hired for your skills.
Exactly. It's about your performance, not your personal beliefs.
Yeah.
There are non-discrimination rules to make sure everyone is treated equally, regardless of their faith or background.
So when you're working on a team, the goal is the project, not trying to align everyone's personal philosophies.
Right. It's a skills-based system, plain and simple.
Okay, this all sounds like a really effective, adaptable system. But of course, nothing is ever that simple, especially when people's core beliefs are involved. What are some of the challenges secularism is facing right now?
The biggest challenge is that this is not a settled issue. It's a living, ongoing debate. There are many groups who sincerely believe that their religious framework should have a much bigger, more official role in making laws.
And you see that tension in the news all the time. Debates over religious symbols on public property or arguments about whether businesses should have religious exemptions.
Exactly. These are fundamental disagreements about where you draw that line of separation.
So the framework itself doesn't make the arguments go away.
No, not at all. It just provides a neutral, legal way to have those arguments respectfully. It makes sure one side can't just use the power of the government to crush the other side. So in a way, the fact that we're always debating this, it's actually a sign of a healthy secular democracy.
So the future of this is really all about adaptability, isn't it? Our societies are becoming more and more diverse with globalization.
It is. People are moving, cultures are blending. The system has to keep finding new ways to make sure everyone feels included.
So it has to evolve.
It has to evolve by staying true to its core principles, fairness, equality, and focusing on our shared human goals like peace and liberty. It's a framework that's built to handle new challenges, whether they come from culture or from science. I think the final takeaway is that secularism is really built on two things: logic and respect. It's a system designed to make sure that every single person's contribution is valued equally, no matter where they come from or what they happen to believe privately.
And maybe most importantly, it's the framework that protects your right to question things, to think for yourself, and to challenge authority without fear. Thank you for joining us. Good luck with your studies.